Hello everyone. Welcome back to Reddit Night, your favorite Reddit reading channel. Today we are back on our /askreddit. Don't forget to like and subscribe. What is a sign of a cry for help that isn't obvious to the average person? Some people become very quiet and docile, like if they've resigned themselves to the minimum. Purposely avoiding sad and difficult topics. Sometimes when a person is constantly feeling like shit, the last thing they want to do is bring up more negativity when hanging out with people they enjoy being around. Oftentimes being with friends/family can be a brief escape from always feeling awful, and so bringing up negative topics can ruin this feeling of escape and make the depression feel never-ending and suffocating. Maybe they took weeks to tell you they failed a test or even dropped out of school. Maybe you randomly hear from someone else that their dog died. Maybe they always switch the radio station from the news to pop songs. Could be anything big or small, usually multiple things. A reduction in food consumption. I've found when I've fallen down the hole and I just stop caring anymore, I don't eat anywhere near as much as I normally do. Instead of having the standard 3 to 4 meal things a day, I'll be lucky to convince myself to have 2, as I simply don't care anymore. Marked differences in behavior where the person becomes way more positive and energetic than normal. We tend to think of these sorts of changes as being good, but any sudden and large enough change in behavior is something you need to keep an eye on. This is especially true if they are going from a very negative pattern of thinking/behavior into an uber positive one very quickly. Usually, those "now I feel like I can conquer the world" changes are the precursor to suicide attempts and the like. When they start cutting off contact. That outgoing, happy person suddenly just isn't up to it, or maybe some other time, then something is wrong. Also, if they stop caring about their physical appearance. Sleeping. People sleep more when they are avoiding a person/issue, when they are depressed, and when they are physically sick. In the case of someone who is high energy, and suddenly they have none, is a big heads up, too. My ex-Phil went from doing hours of yard work a day to doing none. He hit the point where he was ready to go, stopped eating right, and stopped drinking water, stopped cleaning himself. He'd had enough of life, decided it was time. Edit for clarity, he died. Second edit, oh wow. I am completely stunned this blew up. And the awards are very unexpected and nice. Thank you, everyone. Third edit, please, if you have depression, have compassion for yourself. If you haven't already, please seek help. The sleep problems which come with depression can become a source of frustration. I don't want that for anyone. Joking about self-harm, suicide. Lack of interest in things usually enjoyed. Giving away possessions. Suddenly being much happier, content after being sad, unhappy for a long time. This is often a sign that suicide was planned and/or prepared. Self-isolation. Anger, frustration. Lack of hygiene. Sleeps a lot, always tired. Laziness. Self-harm, yes, even if it's just for attention, these people are inflicting physical damage on themselves, like cutting, hitting, pulling hair, etc. Substance abuse. Reckless behavior, e.g. crossing the street without looking, driving faster than the speed limit, etc. Strange habits regarding food, loss of appetite, binge eating, refusing to eat in front of people, constantly counting calories, obsession with fitness, etc. Loss, gain of weight. Asking questions such as "would you visit me in the hospital?" or similar questions. Apathy. There are more, but I can't think of any right now. Just know that if your friends give you an off vibe, it's usually right and something's up. That doesn't necessarily mean they're suicidal, but maybe something happened recently. Just be there for them. And if your friends are gym rats, make sure you watch their weight and eating habits, especially if they are men. A lot of men develop eating disorders while they go to the gym, and they go unnoticed because EDs are often viewed as something only white teen girls get, when that's not true at all. When someone is constantly busy so they don't give themselves time to think. Also, when someone gives up on a lot of basic things like cleaning or doing washing up because they can't think about anything except what's bothering them. It may seem a bit obvious, but when someone says that they don't see themselves living past a certain age, or acting surprised that they made it to a certain milestone in their lives. Sleeping all day and having no interest. No one cares, they just walk by or don't understand. Makes you feel very alone. I don't want someone to fix me, but I do want someone to show they care. Also, drinking a lot when you have never been a drinker. When someone has obviously been crying or tears up without apparent provocation, even in a very public setting, it can be a sign that they're in too much pain even to try masking it. I've also heard of severely depressed people who abruptly snap out of it, and go perky, and that can be indicative of a person who was agonizing over whether to end things, who has now decided to do so. Making that decision, sadly, Gives them peace and relief. The person stops caring about their appearance and neglects their hygiene and grooming, because in their mind they are thinking that it doesn't matter since no one likes them anyway, that they don't deserve to be clean or that it won't make their lives better, so why bother? Giving a lot of personal possessions away without wanting anything in return. Anhedonia. Losing interest in things a person usually found to be a source of enjoyment. Depression is a very insidious illness and a very isolating one. Sometimes it can be hard to spot, because people are very conditioned to hide it. Most common red flags. Anhedonia. Excessive sleeping or insomnia. Irritability. Becoming tearful more easily than normal for the person. Periods of mania and extremely high mood. Short attention span. Phrases like "I just don't care anymore" or "nothing matters anymore." The biggest thing to watch for is if the person suddenly becomes incredibly sunny and chilled out. This is easy to mistake for them bouncing back, but keep an eye on them even closer if this happens out of the blue. 9 times out of 10, it's because they're about to attempt suicide. They're likely sunny and positive because they've decided when to call it quits and end the pain they're feeling for themselves because they've run out of hope. This is when they need you most. Lack of interest. Gamer all of a sudden no longer games? Gardener let his plants die? Social butterfly now hides in a cave. Reaching out and being overly nice to friends both close and casual with the hope that they will reciprocate and eventually ask them how they're doing, so that when they open up it's not about being a burden but because they were prompted to do so. Going out of their way to talk/reach out to PPL when that's not the norm for them. Excessive drinking when they usually don't. Edit. Didn't expect this would blow up. But I pray everyone who this touches works on themselves. For my childhood trauma, I'm 30 and it still affects me. But with heavy therapy, doing the work that my therapist needs me to do to work through things, I'm living a stable life. If you haven't tried talking to someone, please just try. Even if it's not a therapist, find someone to talk to. Bad decisions looking for short-term happiness with no regard for how it will damage their life in the long run. Getting a neck tattoo, buying a Mitsubishi, that sort of thing. Saying "I'm sorry for everything," or taking the blame for things that shouldn't even have a blame. Thank you so much for the silver award. I appreciate it. Also remember guys, my DMs are always open for literally anything. I loved waking up this morning to see the discussions going on. Thank you guys for my first popular Reddit response. Hell, people don't take you seriously when you straight up say "I need some freaking help, I'm dying here," so I'm not sure why we should expect them to notice the small things. On my experience, becoming easily angry and argumentative has been a sign. Personally, if I open up about something that I never seriously addressed before, that's a sign. I won't open up 100%, but if I bring up the topic, it's because things are getting worse. Not caring about things you used to get excited about, delaying plans with friends, turning normal easy conversations with friends to general small chat. Reckless behavior. It's not always funny or badass. There is often a "nothing matters anymore" thought behind, or a deep feeling of emptiness which can be filled for a short time with risky behavior. Leaving a group of people, sometimes even online, without an obvious reason. Some people tend to go away or even push away because they want to see if there is an opposite reaction, like testing if they are still wanted in a situation. Not all people who isolate want to be alone. When somebody acts like they hadn't much time left, even if they seem to have. Not really a cry for help, but maybe a suicide red flag. I do it myself. I often stress about how I want to do some things in a small amount of time because I really don't plan living past a year from now. Odd changes in mood, even things like being overly happy. Lifestyle changes, this could even be a new healthy diet or small bite of exercise. Missing pages in a calendar after a certain day. Sometimes people who don't plan living anymore choose a final date, then get rid of the rest of their events and clear their calendar. Giving away precious items of theirs without a care. Being more silent than usual. A lot of people miss it, or out of as being ignorant. Know that person is struggling and scared of judgment or abandonment. They become a robot, conversations are shallow and mechanical, they don't go out anymore, the spark is gone from their eyes. Life is just a list of boxes to check: shower, eat, drive, work, drive, home, eat, bed. There's no breaks because if they rest they may never be able to get up again. There's no fun because nothing is enjoyable anymore. There's nothing beyond the bare minimum because even that is exhausting. It's the 1,000-yard stare, it's the hollowness in their voice, it's slowly feeling like you're dying but you don't know why. But you've got shit to do, so you're going to do it. Edit. If you resonate with this, take it as that you are showing some signs of depression. Depression can be temporary and have a clear cause X, death of a loved one, have no clear cause or time length, be debilitating, be high functioning, what I describe here, or anywhere in between. Regardless, I highly recommend you look into therapy and/or medication. For myself, medication has been a life changer. I simply explained some of my symptoms to my doc, was prescribed a low dose for a trial period. The 3 to 6 months it takes your body to adjust suck, and your depression can get worse during this time, but for me it was worth it. In my experience, changing your status on social media. Like how on Discord you can say either you're online or invisible or don't disturb. Unless it's online going to idle, I notice how the people I talk to go from online to don't disturb. I ask if there's anything wrong, and most of the time they yes. As a person who suffers from major depressive disorder, a cry from help can come in the form of super limited contact, almost to the point of isolation, dry conversations, just being distant and cold in general. That's it for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.